Wait, just so we're clear, who's doing the narration?
Kelly.
Okay.
Alright.
He is on the way though, right?
Not sure.
Okay. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment.
If only Greg was here. Duck, go ahead.
Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you.
So last 2 nights were nice. Had freedom, initiative. Good while it lasted, I guess.
He smiles apologetically.
Don't shoot the messenger. The car's waiting. Shall we?
You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the anarch thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Our driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Eric. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They are encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands. But it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that, just a handful of nights ago, would make you feel like melting. Oh, is Tom back?
Is he in?
He's in the chat.
I am in.
Awesome. Yes. I will tag you in, great narrator. Oh, and Eric? Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them, somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it.
Smile again. Much shorter.
Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser?
He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette except his own. Good night, and good luck.
She flashes one last smile at you, turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. Pocket the flash drive, and head out toward Coney Island. Takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight. Nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Temporarily stumped, you feel frustration building inside. Come to recognize what this is. Hunger. Beast calling to indulge your vice and lash out. Has to be silenced. A short walk away from the lights, to one of the less frequented areas. See if any options reveal themselves. It does. Older bum has settled himself in a small niche between two buildings. Has just begun, loudly, coherently, praying. To say who he's praying to, he's entirely engrossed. And for you. Barely sees you coming, and you bite down, and to ignore the smell of unwashed body and blanket underneath. Taste is, well, similar. It's familiar. Yeah. Guys on a party pill, too. Or you stop drinking. You feel woozy. World spins a bit, then starts spinning the other way. Get it under control. And then you don't. You feel your thoughts scattering in all directions, every detail of your surroundings turning into a potential fascination. Faraway lights and sounds, composing a beautiful symphony. You bask in the afterglow of a successful feeding, feeling like you're on top of the world, superhuman, a master of the night, God. A few tangents later, stray thought saying, "This isn't good," breaks through the layers of noise inside your head. You realize you've been standing in place for 15 minutes. Staring at you intently, the man with a gun in his hand.
Jordan?
Well, there he is. Stay put. There's someone who'd like to have a word with you. We're gonna wait for him. Right here.
I'll have to take this. Goddamn vampire now. In the blink of an eye. Vivid scenarios that would instill eternal respect for you. in this asshole's heart play out before your eyes. Maybe you'll rip off a limb or two. Maybe you'll make him swallow his own gun, bit by bit. You'll uppercut him with the ferocity of 1,000 tigers. Take him so high in the air he'll be able to get a bird's eye view of nighttime Brooklyn. Masquerade. Fuck the masquerade. Equality through fear.
Hey! Dude. Hey!
Step back to the real world. Not sure how much time went by, but the guy with the gun is still there. Hear the hum of a nearby car and see its headlights.
Boss is here. Let's go.
He motions toward the lights with his gun. Coming to. Suddenly in charge of your body. At least you think so. Car's doors open. Nobody comes out. Stranger keeps motioning to the car. You hope it's the limo you expect. For a moment, pretty sure that what you see inside the car is just the bum's drugged blood kicking in for an encore. Inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge. Kind with a stripper pole and bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session. Wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all this visual noise, and then, as there's nobody there, is there? Wakes into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. We're 100% sure. Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens. Its features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, flesh and crooked teeth. Bears them in an awful parody of a smile. Doors close behind you.
Duck, you can do a German accent?
So, the waste of good blood outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? You've got something for me?
Reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket. Slowly pass it to Kaiser. Plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of his screens. Happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data.
Let me guess. This from Langley? She said she'd have something like this. You're her new flunky?
You have to bite your tongue to keep from arguing with the word he chose. Not.
Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago.
Removes the flash drive and throws it back at you with disgust.
Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address, she can give me something else.
Presence it. Take on the most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can. What basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniac monster.
Come on, man. Don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data under the deal. It'll mean a lot to me.
Sound the Nosferatu producers. Supposed to be laughter, I think. I'm pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that.
Look at me! I'm so pretty and well spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur into your wounds. Rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus, I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So, I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it up her cunt. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out.
Pretty sure you're done here. Get out, close the door behind you. The car immediately starts backing up. Opaque windows slide past you and soon the limo is on its way. There's lackey is nowhere to be seen. You make your way to your car, drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. Stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, yet all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, Red Hook Grain Terminal rears its rusty frame. It's a bustling industrial area. A sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Creeping to the shadows, sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy in the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up. The door a slight nudge. Surprise. Gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. It's inside. Find yourself in a large empty hall. Around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. A set of stairs leading you up to a mezzanine, most likely an empty office. You see it. Faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Sadly, bated breath. Climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. Door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office. complete with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly, it hits you, a nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. Cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear.
Tom, go ahead.
Let me guess. Don't turn at third silo. By a strange hunch, your mouth. You hear yourself talking, but the words are not yours. Coming from the deepest recesses of your memory. A movie you saw as a child. You don't know why. It seems oddly appropriate.
I know what you're thinking. This punk ain't got nothing on me. I'm sitting pretty on a loaded coat detective special. 5 in the cylinder and 1 in the chamber. Only need the 1.
As corny as it all sounds, the stranger seems oddly receptive to your tough guy monologue. Decide to bump it up a notch. Focusing your will, you boost your aura, filling the room with your presence. Your voice becomes smooth, oozing with charisma, regular Sam Spade. You yourself can't help but feel a sense of awe. The stranger feels it too.
But then there's that nagging feeling. But it's more just a guy than he lets on. But it's got me right where he wants me. Maybe I should hear what he has to say.
Is that right?
Yeah, so how about we drop the tough guy out and talk like adults? You can only shoot me once you're done.
A few tense seconds, the room goes quiet. So quiet, in fact. I swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. Got a point there, kid. Strange interplay of light and shadow. The stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, lack of a better word, glory, can't help but smirk. It is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described them, we were expecting some esque monstrosity. This guy, pose, the swagger, the oiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, lineage is undeniable. 30 feet away, he passed for a bum with a nasty skin condition. And 5 feet away, looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. Leans back in his chair, visually pointing his gun at you. So, you to my humble office.
You the one they call D'Angelo?
That's my name, kid. I'll wear it out. Friends call me Jin. So you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, kindly ask you to get the fuck out my office.
Charming. I can see why Kadir keeps you around.
His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. Hey, I get it. That's some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street. On to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however...
Red Hook murders. I know. Want to help you catch the killer.
His moldy lips twist into a smile. Hear you now. Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds, sits motionless with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly, raises his gun, making you flinch. Lost. Pulls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced in front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move. The quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. They seem to care, but what was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't, especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got me. Pauses. Sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. A good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. He reaches in his pocket. Flash a little lighter before his eyes.
Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy.
Split second. He gives you a puzzled look. He leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. Might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what. I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around. My notes. Tag along if you want to. Could use an assistant. Someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows? If you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement.
You won't regret it. Tom.
We'll find out. Just one more thing. Still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've some digging on me. With you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? Answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for?
Sophie Langley.
First time since you got here, Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. Eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. Oh, you're the one, huh? Fledgling the Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Up front, kid. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, reappears right next to you, up close. Smile is even more unnerving. Hey, when light's burning, let's get cracking. A certain fascination watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. Was certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the less frequented streets. Definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off of M. Brunt Street into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. Where they found him. Drain dry, not a drop of blood on him. You ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. Oh, can you tell me? Take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. You know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. Reads, "Blood Speaks," in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. Point at the spray-painted sign.
That looks like a clue.
Kid, might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means? Give the sign a good hard look. It's no Rembrandt. Writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry.
Seems desperate.
My thoughts exactly. It's as if someone wanted to get a message across, but was too scared to found and write the whole damn book. So we got the abridged version. Then there's the blood, or lack thereof, and then that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound. Therefore, conclude that
The killer was kindred.
bingo. The kindred could drain a human this quickly, this quietly. If you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? The sorcerers are.
Which one was sorcerers?
Maybe. The Malkavians, because they're supposed to be cursed too, I think.
Maybe it's a Malkavian serial killer? Pretty nuts, right?
Ah, kid. Ponies can be a bit playful. There's a method to their madness. Leaves a certain aftertaste. This, right here, this reeks of desperation. I'll be jumping to conclusions, but my money's on the thin bloods. Spits out the mangled remains of a cigar. Shit. I think we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit.
Why him?
don't know, because he's just a swell guy to talk to. Maybe because he's the thin blood primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. Ace, we'd be doing him a favor if it turns out one of his is violating the masquerade. Put him in hell of an awkward position. I mean, shitting upside down awkward. Kind of weakness the other primogen would love to exploit. Position in the council as bad as it is. Pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, a fresh cigar. Puff. As the smoke escaped through his crooked smile. Let's get this over with. Industrial ugliness of Red Hook. Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. Heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, Nosferatu stops. All seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. Place. That points to a surprisingly nice-looking 2-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. Notice a dim light
Tom, you there?
got disconnected for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Now we can.
Okay. That points to a surprisingly nice-looking 2-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. Notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. Oh?
I think your stream might be a bit late or something.
Oh, okay, so that...
Like, try reconnecting.
Wait, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna try and load here. Probably safe to the family is working late. Especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid. We gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions. You rang my lord gentil. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, we'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Tell you what. How about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit-up window seems to be like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His, and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from. As a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. In the doorbell. You'll kneel down. You kneel down and pick a rock off the lawn. One small enough to not break glass, but big enough to get someone's attention. Deftly, you chuck the rock at the window. It bounces off the glass with a quiet but audible thunk. Moments pass in silence, making you think no one's got your message. Just as you start to look for another rock, you hear the window slide open. A very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck appears at the window. As soon as he notices you, his expression sours, like he just smelled something rotten. He addresses your Nosferatu partner in what could only be described as a very loud and angry whisper.
Get the fuck off my lawn, D'Angelo! You know goddamn better than to show your ugly mug around here!
You glance over at D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this.
We wouldn't have bothered you if this wasn't important.
Eric? Stay where you are.
You wait out in the lawn, listening to Larson quietly making his way downstairs. Before long, he appears on the porch, locking the front door behind him. He motions at you to follow him off to the side of the house. There, he turns towards you.
What do you want?
It's about the Red Hook murders. I think one of yours is responsible.
Bullshit! A Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade?
Desperation. Killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together.
Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat. Getting your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for?
Didn't help us clear your people's name. We gotta lose.
Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me.
What if it turns out one of yours did it, and you sat on your hands to protect him? Think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh.
Look, I'll ask around. Consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is.
Deal.
Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family.
And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. Decide it's best to move along. Walk a couple blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, find his newborn reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm in a tall, sweaty glass. First, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who could talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking sheep. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own. But hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, the situation called for subtlety. You managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick. Just any old dick. All in all, did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. You know, if I hear from Larson, you ready to meet me at the office? He starts to walk away. Suddenly stops and turns back toward you. Bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In NYC, there are plenty of passerby going about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. Kindred have many enemies. All in all, those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, distinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a hired restaurant worker, or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car ordinary cops? Or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness. Can't shake the feeling someone is watching you. It's not the first time you've felt this. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon. You'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day. Disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. His hands are outside of his pockets. He seems pretty relaxed. He's keeping his eyes on the street, though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach.
Evening. Got something for you from our mutual friend.
Produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket, hands it to you.
Read it. Memorize it. Then give it back here.
Paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook. The writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. Reads, "Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street. Ask for 821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro. When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a Fidel Servitor de la Familia G. Those exact fucking words. Make sure you get the G right. Get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy over here and let him know."
You done? Memorize that shit, hand it over.
Didn't peg your boss or a letter kind of guy. Isn't electronic communication just no snick?
Yeah, well, some things are better done the old-fashioned way. You about done with the letter?
Note the phrases, address mentioned in the letter, and hand it back to Jackie. For a lighter, and burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot.
So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in that alley over there. Just find me when you have the item, whatever it is. I don't know, and the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya.
He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit. Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note, not counting the local restaurant patrons. It's mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small, middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. Door at the back of the room with a small table and chair, occupied by a man in a faux leather jacket with slick, combed-back hair. Reading a newspaper. Pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. A sip from a small, steaming cup. Back to his broadsheet.
Nico.
Oops. Good evening. How can I help you? Test.
I'd like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro, please.
Let me check our stock.
She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the corner. He puts on a polite smile.
I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry.
Cite the phrase straight and simple.
I'm sure you'll find a bottle for Fidel Salvatore della Familia G, right?
Raises an eyebrow.
Let me see if we have any in the back.
Woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, pushing it down with a gulp of water from a nearby glass. Tries to hide it. There's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. In silent and wait. Remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter. keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return to the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. Doors to the back of the store open. The proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. He gives you an apologetic smile.
Susie, sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it.
She offers you the bottle. You reach out to grab it. She retracts it.
You do know what this is, don't you?
Focus your blood and immediately see both the people at the shop focus intently in on you, what you are about to say.
I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to.
To the bottle without hesitation.
Grazie.
There you go. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store. Take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita. Drive back to your apartment. Takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. Not far from where you parted ways, just under 2 hours ago.
Got the goods?
Show him the bottle.
Any idea what this is?
Looks away. Puts up his hands.
Hey, put that back. I told you before, I don't know what the boss wanted you to retrieve. I don't want to know. I'll let him know you got it. Wait here.
Takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings. Takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time.
Hey, boss. Yeah, I have it. Where do I point them to? Okay. Yeah, I'll tell them to go right away.
Puts the phone back in his pocket. Turns back towards you.
Willets Point. Half an hour, so you better get step on it. See you around.
A flippant salute. Jackie starts walking down the street. Car and drive. Had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willets Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump. By stadium notwithstanding. Stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, potholes will kill your chassis. Step out into one of the gashes in the asphalt, splashing the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted. Then the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, middle-aged woman, is just locking the place up. This is too perfect an opportunity to not take advantage of. She's walking to her car. Call it a night when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. can taste the caffeine in her veins. Smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair. Old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. Result the closing note. A long day of work. Let her down gently. Feel a pang of remorse. Pick up the car keys she dropped. Put her in the driver's seat. To find an explanation for passing out like this. Sure. Bright lights of a car pulling over down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Finally, here, it would seem. Same as last time. Car doors open, but nobody comes out. Know the drill. And Kaiser is visible when you look inside. Sit down and close the door behind you.
Oh, you pulled it off without a hitch then. Give it here.
Hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. Corks it gently, takes a whiff, puts the cork back in.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address.
Passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside.
Thank you, Mr. Kaiser.
Yeah. I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now.
Waves you out of the car. Open hand, you get out, onto the torn asphalt, decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. Hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. Thomas Arturo. Met an asylum a few nights back. Shriek is unmistakable.
Ah, Eric, so glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk previously?
Thomas speaks up before you can.
Jordan, did you do this voice? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Jordan.
Okay.
Okay. Why, yes, of course. And such a good first impression you made, too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so, too, don't you, Sophie?
Why, of course,
Of course you do. Of course. Well, I believe I must be going. I'll be sure to let Prince Panhard know your thoughts, Miss Langley. Word for word, or as close as I can remember them.
I appreciate it, Thomas.
You enjoy your night. Good night, Sophie. Eric. Reggie boy.
Do a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host, and doors close.
So what's his deal?
Same as everyone's. Position, power, influence. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you've been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for?
Yes, I have it. But down he offered his old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he would give me this card.
He retrieves the envelope from you.
I'm sure he did. I do hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience.
Maybe go on an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. Had to use code phrases and whatnot.
Wine shop? Code phrases? That degenerate pest.
Agitated, calms down, smiles at you.
Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over.
She opens the envelope and looks at the card. Notice the same lettering you saw on Kaiser's note from before. You can't see the details. Her eyes widen.
Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I'll likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear charge. I will contact you soon.
Mad. Sophie ushers you outside, and you are left to do with the rest of this night's hours as you like. Time is it?
122. Do you need to go?
I was just wondering. It's up
Okay.
to you. You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore, serving as Agathon's haven. Cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window. Under the fake facade, something real. This time, Buddhas and satanic Bibles of the storefront seem almost funny. Perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry sense of humor. These Tremere. You're about to ring the doorbell. The door opens and Agathon storms out. Step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble into you.
Eric, what are you doing here?
Look, can it help you like last time?
Hey. Fine, you're right. Follow me.
As he turns to go, Agathon looks almost pleased that you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time, but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle. Aging, mid-sized family sedan. Imagine what it would look like with a baby seat in the back. Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices you look.
Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical.
Sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least he'll never be stopped by traffic cops. Seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. And that it's best to let Agathon drive in peace. Agathon is very comfortable driving in silence. You look out the window, wondering at the ordinary lives of the people you pass by. Finally, Agathon snaps you out of your reverie.
Let me ask you something, Eric. Do you enjoy the hunt?
course.
Of course.
I thought all Kendra did. I mean, maybe I feel guilty sometimes, but such a rush.
Not all kindred enjoy it. But you're right. Most do.
Something melancholy in Agathon's voice. You can't quite parse. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of the nightclub. Seems to be your destination. On the riverfront, converted former warehouse. Start, you recognize the place. Club where fate latched its old grubby hands onto your soul. Wanted to party, but instead you became a monster. How's that for a hangover? After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. Glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. Obvious, this is not his kind of place.
There's a good chance the research notes are here.
So we're looking for research notes.
Yes, that's all you need to know.
There's a line into the club. Looks like a popular spot, even if, based on the crowd, this is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. You walk up to the man at the door and smile.
Hey, remember me, right? Might we go in?
Bouncer looks at you, taken in by your supernatural charisma. It doesn't matter whether he really remembers you or not.
Tom.
Sure, go right in. Have a great night. Walk into the club, ignoring all the people standing in line. Music beats down on you, bringing with it memories of a human existence. Time you went dancing with friends, flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time, different. Everyone around you is prey. They packed, twitching sacks of blood.
Hocus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find.
Nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you. Is on the prize. Came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon wades through the dancing people on purpose. I have no idea how he is searching for the missing research notes. Perhaps he's using enhanced senses of a vampire or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he's doing.
Juno.
Swerve to avoid a drunken man who's just about to spill a beer onto you. Try to see what Agathon is looking at. Young woman. Tense, purposeful. Little out of place at the nightclub. Just like you and Agathon.
Who's Juno?
She's Tremere. A renegade. Bad news.
Woman. No. Elbows a drunken man out of her way and points a finger at Agathon's face.
Natalie.
Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine.
You look at the woman in surprise. appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words.
Juno, Iceling will not let you lead with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave it whole.
Juno pulls close to Agathon's face. The stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear her over the music.
You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Aisling fucking Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog.
Sorry to interrupt, but is this woman your ex?
Yes. We used to date.
Maybe we still would if you weren't such a fucking coward, Agathon.
That's not fair,
It's fair and you know it. You're too busy licking Aisling's boots to realize what we had.
Aisling doesn't wear boots.
Don't correct me.
Start. Realize Juno is genuinely upset. It's hard to say how long ago they broke up, but the wounds are still there.
You're the kind of man who takes the side of his boss over his girlfriend.
Glisten red with the blood of her tears. Look at Agathon with uncertainty.
It was for your own good.
No steps back, suddenly cold. Full dancing all around. Stares hard at Agathon.
The past is the past. The traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure of that here and now. You know I have the power.
No, Juno, please.
Agathon sounds panicked. Not worried about his own survival, but of the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine masquerade breach. Calling on the powers of your blood, you step closer to Juno, between her and Agathon.
Agathon was being an asshole. Don't hurt yourself just to get back at him. It's not worth it.
Juno looks you in the eye. You can see that she's tired and scared. Defecting from the Tremere was not easy. Safe.
You're right.
She turns to go, and stops and glances back at you.
You should pick better friends.
With that, Juno walks through the oblivious dancers towards the exit. Looking around, you realize that Agathon didn't stay to witness your exchange with Juno. Instead, he worked his way around the dancing crowd, looking for the notes using his arcane methods. After Juno is gone, he's shaking his head.
Notes were here, but not anymore. It's possible someone grabbed them when they hunted here.
After making sure Juno was nowhere to be seen, Agathon pushed your way back outside. Inside, you walk to Agathon's car and drive over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, or Agathon's haven.
Juno mentioned some very personal things. I trust your discretion is not discussing those things with Aisling.
Your love life's your business.
Thank you.
While Agathon's haven, and he parks your car. It's the car. Walk to the occult bookstore, and Agathon invites you inside. Sense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. Follow Agathon upstairs to find Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. Bookmark in place as you come in.
You were successful, I hope.
No. I'm sorry, the notes were there at some point, but not anymore.
That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege do?
Agathon turns to look at you.
Well, surprisingly well.
That's a surprise. I'll have to compliment Sophie on her choice.
We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either.
That's interesting.
High Regent turns to look at you.
What was your impression of Juno, fledgling?
She's very driven, motivated. I don't think she'll desist easily.
You're probably right. Juno could have made a great member of our house in different circumstances. Instead, she became a headache. You'll understand if you have a childer of your own some night, fledgling. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now.
You leave the occult bookstore. Cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. Wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's surface if wanted to? Okay, I think that might be enough for me.